a Disney trip can be a lot, and packing for a trip can be especially stressful.
In this video, we are breaking down the packing essentials that you need on your next Disney World vacation. So if that interests you, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's Kayla and Mark Allen. We like to travel a lot, especially to Disney World. Follow along on our journey as we give you tips and tricks to help you create your own ever after.
We've been to Disney World a time or two and have perfected our packing for all times of year. We found that there are some specific things that we must bring with us on every Disney trip, and we're sharing those with you today. This video is in collaboration with our friend Bekah Hart. She is also sharing her packing essentials from a little bit different point of view. We're a married couple with no children, while Bekah has her sweet little girl, Ellie Rose. We are going to give you our tips from an adults-only point of view, while she gives a little bit of a mama's flair to it. So make sure you check out her video linked at the end of this one, or you can find it linked in the description box below.
And now to jump into the essentials. These are in no particular order. Number 1, packing cubes. These are super helpful when organizing your suitcase. They're essentially zipper pouches that you can use to sort your items and keep them from floating around your suitcase. They can also really be helpful if you unpack your suitcase when you get to your hotel. They can separate dirty clothes from clean ones, or just make you feel more organized.
We highly recommend getting compression packing cubes to save you a little bit more space. But pro tip, make sure you don't overstuff them if you are using compression cubes, because it will actually make it a weird shape and they won't actually pack quite as well. Number 2, multiple park bags. Don't worry, you don't need to get crazy, but at least maybe have a backpack and a smaller bag like a fanny pack. That way, if you start to get a sore back, you find that you maybe don't need a bag as big as you thought, or you just want something to sit on your shoulders a little different, this can be super, super helpful.
And remember, you will be carrying this all day for multiple days in a row, and nothing is worse than being stuck with a bag that is too heavy, too hot, or too painful to carry. Number 3, speaking of multiples of things and having long days, having a few different shoe options is an absolute non-negotiable must.
On average, people will walk between 8 to 10 miles every single day of their trips. That is around 20,000 steps. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that means blisters and sore feet are inevitable.
However, if you're smart and not only have comfortable pairs of shoes, but a few types of shoes, like maybe a pair of comfy sandals and a pair of comfy tennis shoes, this will help a lot. We personally try to make it back to our room at least once in the afternoon or early evening to change shoes so that we can switch up the spots where they rub and hopefully avoid blisters. If you can't do this, then I at least recommend switching up your shoe choice each day.
This can also come in handy when it rains and your shoes are soaked. Having an extra pair of socks in your bag isn't a bad idea either.
If you're finding these tips helpful, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up.
Number 4, blisters and rub spots are something I take extremely serious. I am a little bit bigger, so chafing is something that I deal with every time I go to Disney. But this could happen to anybody, and this might be a little TMI, but I need you to hear this story to understand how serious I am. Last year, I had the absolute worst experience with chafing in my life, and it truly almost ruined our trip. I made the mistake of wearing some biker shorts that weren't as breathable as I thought they would be. Because of the humidity and the heat, it caused a really bad blistered chafing spot on the inside of my thighs. Oh, did I mention this was only the first day of that trip? The ironic thing is I wore those biker shorts so that I wouldn't get chafing, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This got so bad, I started to bleed and pus, and it burned, and it was so painful. I usually deal with a little heat rash when I'm at Disney, but this was like a whole nother level, and I was completely unprepared and I didn't know what to do. To be perfectly candid, it ended with a moment of me crying on the bathroom floor in first aid at Hollywood Studios halfway through our second day because I didn't know how I was gonna be able to continue walking the last days of our trip because it hurt so bad to walk. That being said, we've now come up with the perfect remedy to help not only prevent this, but also help in case it does happen. Baby powder is my best friend in the heat and humidity of Florida. It keeps everything dry, and yes, it's a little messy. Yes, you do have to reapply, but I promise you it works and you will stay dry all day long. Think about like diaper rash and how baby powder helps with diaper rash. It's basically the same concept. The nice thing is that baby powder both helps with prevention, but it also helps to keep the friction at bay if chafing does happen.
Another option is Body Glide. This is a stick that kind of looks like deodorant, but you rub it over spots that could potentially chafe to help reduce the friction that is happening. This works great as a preventative, but personally we found that it doesn't work great if chafing has already happened, so you have to remember to put it on beforehand.
The other things that were incredibly helpful are waterproof Band-Aids, specifically Nexicare waterproof Band-Aids because they stay on with sweat and friction so much better than regular Band-Aids. If you have a spot maybe on your foot that you know tends to blister from a certain pair of shoes, be proactive and wear a Band-Aid before getting a blister. This helps avoid it altogether, or it at least makes it less severe if it does happen. Also, don't make the mistake of only having one size. We had normal sized Band-Aids when that whole leg chafing fiasco happened, but they weren't near large enough to cover over the sores, and First Aid did not have any that would stay on. So we ended up having to pay $40 to have some Instacarted to our hotel because we didn't have a car and I didn't want to pay even more to Uber to the store. Plus my legs were hurting too bad to even walk at that point. So basically just make sure you bring more Band-Aids than you think is necessary and then some, because I promise you will use them. Okay, I know that was a lot so far, but we do still have a few more items. If you are learning some helpful tips and you want to see more, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our other Disney travel tips.
Number 5, let's talk about your park bag and a few things we always have in ours. If you hate paper straws, consider having some reusable ones in your bag. Disney only serves paper straws, and I'm 100% on board with them trying to reduce plastic, but I also hate paper straws. You can get these in a huge variety from collapsible to silicone to metal and more. We do have a lot of these products that we're talking about linked in the description box below, so be sure to check those out.
You may even want to consider bringing some reusable utensils. Personally, we do it so that we aren't using so much plastic, but sometimes it's nice to have them in your bag for when you get down to the table, you're ready to eat, and you realize you forgot to grab some plasticware. Number 6, wet wipes. Personally, I hate hand sanitizer. I would much rather use a wet wipe, of course if a sink isn't already available for me to wash my hands. They can also be really helpful in messy situations like messy barbecue, cleaning a dirty table, a bird poops on your camera. These are all true stories. Moral is they come in handy for a variety of things and you never know when you might need them.
Number 7, fuel rods. These are so crazy handy, and I honestly can't believe that it took us so long to finally get. Fuel rods are essentially portable chargers for your phone or electronics. And what makes these super unique is that instead of having to remember to charge it every night, you can simply swap it out for a fresh one at any swap station for free. These are $30 upfront to buy for your first one, and it comes with a few charging cords depending on if you have an iPhone or Android. But after your initial buy-in, you get free unlimited swaps. You can find swap stations in all 4 Disney theme parks, resort hotels, and Disney Springs. There is an additional app you can download to help you find where your swap stations are, but what's even cooler is they also have fuel rod locations in many airports and other locations across the US. Non-Disney locations may have fees for swaps, but you can always recharge it yourself if you need to. I personally just love the convenience of not having to remember to charge one more thing every night, and with how much you use your phone between Genie Plus, photos, wait times, and more, additional charging options are key. And it's nice that you can take it home to use outside of Disney. Plus, since I can swap it out as many times as I need to, I always appreciate that it's pretty small and lightweight, and that I don't have to carry a heavy, bulky one in order to hold more of a charge.
Note about these, if you don't travel a lot or this is your one and only time going to Disney, these may not be the best investment. But if you end up going every year or you do travel a lot, these can be super helpful. Number 8, Magicbands, park tickets, and mobile park tickets. The absolute easiest way to do your Disney trip is with a Magicband. This is a rubber bracelet with an RFID chip that you can purchase to wear. This is what you will use as your hotel key, your park ticket, entrance to lightning lanes, and even for food and merchandise purchases. It's definitely convenient, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have backups. I recommend also going ahead and getting your physical park tickets and your physical hotel keys just in case there's malfunction. For some reason, because we have annual passes, our Magicbands don't always work on our hotel room, but they work for the parks, but then they sometimes do it vice versa. So it's really good to have a backup just in case, and you can even have a digital version downloaded onto your smartphone wallet like Apple Wallet to use instead. Personally, it's always great to have them all just so that you're ready to go. Technology can malfunction, and nothing is more frustrating than trying to rope drop and then wasting valuable time because your Magicband isn't linked properly or your Apple Watch doesn't want to read properly.
Before we share our last few items, tell us in the comments below some things that you like to bring with you to Disney World. Let's help each other create the ultimate Disney packing list. Number 9, a small massage gun. Remember how we were just talking earlier about how you'll be walking a lot? Not to mention, you'll be riding lots of rides that jerk you around. That can cause some achy muscles, and having a little portable massage gun to rub out those sore spots after a long day can be heavenly. Plus, it will help you not to be quite so sore the following day. Also, don't forget your stretches.
Number 10, extra outfits and a variety of outfit types. This is pretty similar to the shoe thing in that sometimes having clothes that rub different can be helpful, but Disney is also a hot, humid, and often rainy place for most of the year. That means your clothes are probably gonna get sweaty, smelly, wet, or dirty. Pack at least a few extra backup outfits so that you have options to change clothes during your midday break, or so that maybe you can dress a little nicer for dinner, or simply in case you get soaked to the bone because you got caught in the rain. Along with this, remember, don't just pack a bunch of skirts and nothing else, or a bunch of jean shorts and no variety. You'll be thankful to have options when you do get those inevitable rub spots from your clothing. If this was helpful, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to check out Bekah's video for 10 more Disney packing essentials. That's all we have for you guys today. Now go create your ever after. Especially oh gosh. Okay, hold on. I wasn't ready.
Is it stressful or special?
Wow.
Non-negotiable.
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 Negotiable.
I can say it.
Well, you didn't say it.
Non-negotiable. We don't have a lot of these products that we don't have anything linked in the description.
We have everything linked in the description.
Oh, dang it. Portal must... No, how do I...
It doesn't work like that.
Well, then you do it.
Okay, well, don't grab it out of my hands.